Welcome back. So let's continue on with our season previews for the 2025 season with Kubota High Limit Racing. And we're going to continue on today with another rookie driver. And that is, of course, Daison Pursley, who is taking over the wheel of the Buick Motorsports number 13 car next season after Justin Peck left the car and is now driving for the Redeem 26. So Daison Pursley, 20 years old at the time of this recording. He is from Locust Grove, Oklahoma, and he drives an RPM chassis. The crew chief on the car is Sean Strasbaugh. I was texting earlier on with the team owner, Tom Book, trying to decipher who is going to be the car chief and the tire specialist on the car. Tom told me that they are still trying to figure that out. So that is not, that's TBD right now. They're still trying to figure out all of the crew members and whatnot, but he didn't really seem like he was too worried about how that's all going to shake out. Now, looking over here in the middle of the board, we mentioned this yesterday with Danny Sams, that he had the most tracks that he had not visited before on the schedule this year with High Limit Racing. He had 23 tracks that were new to him. Daison Pursley is very, very close. He has 20 tracks that he has never been to that he will be visiting for the very first time this season. Starting at the very beginning of the year, a lot of guys have never been to Vegas. Daison Pursley is in that group as well. Then he goes to Kern. That is a new track for him. In between there is Tulare, so he's been there at least. But Kern, Paris, Arizona, Vado, Route 66, Dodge City, and Texas Motor Speedway, all right there at the beginning of the season. He has not been to any of those racetracks. Then you go to Lakeside, both tracks in New York with Utica Rome and Ransomville, 81, Butler, 141, Red Cedar, Eagle, Florence, and a couple tracks on the West Coast with Silver Dollar, Douglas County, and Skagit. So all those racetracks, Daison Pursley has never seen before. It'll be his first time going there when the series arrives. But he does have 6 racetracks where he has won at that are on the schedule this year with High Limit, including a lot of big tracks there. I mean, not a lot, but 2 of them, Eldora and Port Royal. He's won at both of those places. Do want to mention that all of these wins are without the wing on top of the car. They're in a midget or a non-wing sprint car, but still he has tasted success there before, so that is important. So Eldora, Kokomo, Lake Ozark, Port Royal, and Path Valley. So, any type of winning you could do, I think, is obviously important, and it's going to be a learning year for sure for Daison Pursley, and one of the bright young stars in wing sprint car racing, and we'll get to more about his experience level here in just a few moments. Now, last season, Daison Pursley was the 66th best driver overall in sprint car rating, SprintCarRatings.com ranking system. The reason he was so low is because he did not have that many starts at all. He only had 20 starts all of last year without the wing on top, or with the wing on top of the car, excuse me. He did get a win during that time, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. His best 2024 stat, he won in all 3 of USAC's divisions, the non-wing sprint car, the midget, and the Silver Crown car. So that is a pretty important thing. I don't think many guys were able to accomplish that feat last year. And so Pursley has been one of, if not the best driver with USAC over the last couple of years in all of the divisions. He got that Silver Crown win. That was a big one at Port Royal. He almost swept the entire 4 Crown at Eldora. And then he was the USAC midget champion as well last season. He was also able to get a winged 410 win at the Houston Speedway in South Dakota. And that was only his 6th or his 7th ever 410 sprint car start. And so at least he has shown that he can get the job done and win races with the winged sprint car. Now, right here, this is an interesting stat line because there's not much to look at here. There's not a huge sample size to look at here for Daison Pursley. As of this recording, Daison Pursley has 25 career starts under his belt in a wing sprint car. 20 of them came last year. He did get 1 win, as we mentioned at Huset's, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s. He led 25 laps, all of those coming at Huset's. He was a minus 24 in the plus minus, and then he had an average start of 12.4 and an average finish of 14.2. Once again, all of those coming in the wing sprint car. Those 5 top 10s, 2 of them did come against the World of Outlaws. One of them at Charlotte, the other one at Attica Raceway Park during the Brad Doty Classic. And both of those races have a really, really large car count, a tough field of cars. And so Pursley has proven that he can get the job done and run up front with some of the best guys. And in those two top 10s, those were in two different cars. He did the one at Charlotte in this Buick Motorsports 13. He did the other one in the Brandon Eikenberry and Justin Giddings number 25 car. So, and also I want to mention this. In those 25 starts that Daison Pursley has in his career, 4 of them came during the Knoxville Nationals. Another 3 or 4 of them came during the Kings Royal, and another couple of them came during the Huset's High Bank Nationals. So 3 extremely tough fields of cars that he has in those limited starts right there. So, I mean, this guy has been thrown to the wolves immediately in his wing sprint car career. Now, looking down here at the bottom of the board, we've got his strengths. We've got the things that, I mean, this is a tough one for this driver, but things that he can improve on, and then my prediction for what he will do this year with High Limit Racing. Now, over here with the strengths, he is with an established team. I think that is a huge benefit to him as a guy coming into a really, really large, not a super large schedule compared to what he's used to with USAC. But I mean, he's going to 20 new racetracks. He's going to be bouncing up and down the road for a while there at the beginning of the season in May. I think having that established team is certainly going to be a benefactor for him. And then also in his small sample size of wing sprint car starts, he has shown a lot of promise. I mean, got a win within his first 10 starts at a Huset's local show. I know it's a local show, but there are some good cars at Huset's, and you know, you could say what you want about the racetrack. Sometimes it takes rubber. I don't remember if it did or not at his win or whatever. But a win is a win. In today's world of 410 racing, it is hard to win races. There's so many good drivers. There's so many good cars. And so I think that he has shown pretty damn good promise in a very short amount of time. Those 2 wins, or those 2 top 10s against the Outlaws, had that top 5 finish at the Bridgeport race last year as well. So I think that Daison Pursley is going to be very, very good. The question is, how long will it take him to meet or to get to that max potential and see what he really can do when he's, you know, used to these cars. I was listening to the Drivers Project podcast earlier on today with Daison Pursley, and it sounded like he was still trying to learn things, how these cars work in dirty air, how they work just driving around by himself. He still has a lot to learn, and now he's going to go in here and run against a really, really tough field of cars. Also, he has tasted success before, right? I mean, he's won a ton of races already in the Silver Crown, in the non-wing, in micros, in midgets, almost won the freaking Chili Bowl. So he has done a lot in a very short amount of time. And I think that winning all those races does help him. You know, maybe doesn't get as nervous under pressure, right? He's won races. So I think that tasting success is definitely a strength to have on your side. You know, even coming in with all of the unknowns for Daison Pursley this year, having those things in his back pocket, having those experiences of being in maybe a crazy situation when you're running up front, battling for the lead. He's done that before, right? It's not like he's coming in and never won a race before. And also, he has ran full-time before. 60 races with High Limit Racing might sound like a lot, but when you're running full-time midgets, full-time sprint cars, and I think he ran all of the Dirt Silver Crown races last year, I mean, that's pushing 80, 90 races, right? I think he had 102 races last year without the wing on top of the car, right? So 60 race schedule is not going to be a daunting one for Daison Pursley. He's ran way more races before. And so I think having that experience of running full time will help translate him into this role as well. Now, things that he needs to improve on. He has 25 career starts. I feel like I cannot express that enough. I mean, this guy has not ran a ton of races, and I think he has pretty good qualifying. I think he's been pretty good at qualifying. Looking through his sprintcarratings.com qualifying averages right there. I mean, we didn't have it on the board. We had a start average there at 12.4, but he was pretty good at qualifying in the few things that we saw there on the board from last year. I didn't really look at this year's Volusia runs, but Volusia is just a different animal. But I think that you will see Daison Pursley qualify pretty well this year. And then again, 25 career starts. I don't know what else to put there. I mean, we do not have that much to judge him on as to what he's good at, what he's bad at with these cars. He just hasn't ran enough. So I think you got to put on there and reiterate it a couple of times that this guy is, I mean, very, very limited. We just have not seen enough of him yet. But like I said, I mean, in that small sample size, he has shown a lot of promise. Now, in the prediction over there, I've got him from somewhere between 9th to 12th in points. I think he could be a little bit lower as far as 8th. I think he could be a little bit higher, 13th. He is very unpredictable just because we do not know what to expect right now for him. I think that he will secure that charter spot for Buick Motorsports. I think without issue, unless something crazy happens and they don't run the rest of the season or whatever. I think as long as they make it all the way to the end, which I don't see why they wouldn't, I think that no problem they will get a charter spot for 2026. I'm trying to not get my hopes up too high and trying to kind of shoot low on these predictions, but 14 to 17 top 10s, I think, would be a pretty respectable run for these guys this year. I think that this is for Tom Buick, right? I mean, I think he knows that he's taking a little bit of a gamble here with Daison Pursley. I don't think he's expecting to go out there and just start winning right off the bat, right? I think this is a year one, let's try and get everything figured out. Let's try and get this guy used to wing sprint cars. And then in 2026, we'll come back and we'll really, really hit it hard. But I think that 14 to 17 top 10s is not too crazy out of the realm for this team to do. I would not be shocked if they had more. I think they probably will, but I'm going to shoot it a little bit higher. Last year, I went too crazy on the predictions, and it made me look stupid. So I'd rather go lower than higher. And then I think by the time the second half of the season rolls around, when we look at the end of the year at his average finish from the first half to the second half of the year, would not be shocked at all if that is improved by multiple positions. I mean, you look at the beginning of the schedule, on top of already not being out there as much as the rest of these guys, going to a bunch of new racetracks, all that combined, I think that second half of the year is where we will really see a big improvement from Daison Pursley and Buick Motorsports. But that's all I've got. I'm very excited to see what this kid can do. He's shown so much promise already in the USAC stuff, and already in limited starts, he's shown that he can get the job done. So Daison Pursley, fantastic addition to the field this year with High Limit Racing. Tom Buick, I wish you all good luck. Tom, I text him all the time about hockey and whatnot, and so hopefully they have a successful year in 2025 with High Limit Racing, and we'll see them in Las Vegas here in about 2 weeks or so. I don't know what the exact time, but somewhat like 2 weeks away from now. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think will happen this year for Daison Pursley and this team? Give me a prediction that you have down in the comment section below. Make sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll be back here once again tomorrow on the Rodman Rundown to do another season preview for 2025. Thank you all so much for watching. Talk to you again soon.